Hello everybody, welcome back. So third video on data that is I don't know how to put it, unexpected or maybe unnoticed or maybe just that proceeds or precedes hyperinflation. And this one is going to be a little bit about politics. I know I don't like talking about politics, but I'm not going to, say something like a side or something. I'm just going to try to explain a few things that, you might relate to, or maybe you won't. But, so before I continue, I wanted to remind you that down below is my email in case that you want to help me out by sending an Amazon gift card. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And in the first video, I said that if you think that the people that represent, and I do mean represent, I don't mean the people that created or the people that support, I mean the people that represent, meaning the image of the value of your currency or whatever the hell you're talking about. If they are taking these things that are poison and you believe that they are doing it because they're crazy, but you can't tell them, because if you are not sure or you can't prove that they are crazy, oh hell, then you're going to create a freaking war. And this war can actually become a world war. Because let's say that, Russia accuses England of doing something like dumping the price of something on purpose and stuff like that. Oh hell, they better have proof, because if they don't, then everybody else will follow, and then they will take sides, and then it will become war. That's why, I said this was going to be a little bit about politics. Especially if you are manipulating prices of stuff. Now, other things that you might want to consider is the fact that when you have a gang in a particular place, one of the first things that they will do is create some sort of currency. And this is, like I said, done in my country, where there are places that you trade in gold. There are places that you can trade, only in US dollars. There are places that you can trade in Colombian currency, but the Bolivar is not accepted, even though you're in Venezuela, and things like that. But the interesting case is the one that I mentioned in other videos, is the fact that when you lack cash and then you need a currency and you're a gang, you create your own currency, kind of like Monopoly bills. Yes, Monopoly the game. And then, you give them up, as payments for things that you have been doing for the community and stuff. And then you trade them for other currencies and stuff like that. So the value of the currency will depend upon whether you're local or not and stuff like that. And it's kind of like weird because you don't know what the hell. But then again, you're in Venezuela, so you just kind of roll with it, even if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You just have to, close your eyes, move on, and try not to think too much, because otherwise you are going to go insane, more than we already are. And this is a problem, and here is why. Because if the gang per se is the one that is backing up the value of that particular monopoly thing, monopoly, bill or whatever, then if the gang loses power because, the gang leader is dead or they dissolve or whatever, basically, if you had money, as the community, you had money that was worth something in there, but now your money is going to be completely worthless because the gang that was going to change your monopoly game thing for actual US dollars and stuff is not, there anymore. Therefore, your currency is zero. And this is going to make people want to protect that particular gang, Because if they die or they do something stupid or whatever, then whatever money you have, with them will be gone. And at that point, a hell of a lot of politics plays out. And the same happens in a very, huge scale. If you have a lot of US dollars, you can't allow the US dollars prices to go down. Because if you do, then basically you're losing value and you're losing money. So no, you're not going to allow the US dollar to be destroyed. Now, try to imagine how many countries in the world depend upon the US dollar, for trading, because they don't use their own currency. Now, what happens to those countries if the US dollar collapses? See, they will lose the value of that paper. And if that happens, their economies, local and international, both will go to hell. So do you, honest to God, think that all the international players are going to go forward to destroy something that holds them? Like I said, in politics, it's like people, they have a choice to commit suicide. So, oh hell, they're probably going to do it eventually, because some people are like, I don't care, I just hate the US so much that I'm going to destroy their currency. Because, like I said, people, which is the center of politics, are emotional. They are not necessarily logical. Sometimes they will be logical, like when you make agreements and stuff like that. But even if you make agreements and stuff like that, they will fail. International agreements will fail, and I have explained that in another video. And but the point is that you try to make them, and it's important that in your team, everybody understands that you are in the same boat. Now, these can be like I said, a big problem, because when you're dealing with logical things and yet you're handling with emotional energy, oh hell, things get out of control. And then the other is truth. When you're supposed to make emotional choices and then you are dealing with them in a logical sense, you are going to get screwed. There is a time in which you are supposed to do things by logic, and there is a time in which you are supposed to do things by emotional. You're not supposed to do, let's say that you're going to build, you're going to build a building, and you are thinking that, oh my God, I like it this way and I like this material, and because I like it and I really like it that like this, I'm going to do it like that. And then all of a sudden the build collapses upon itself and it kills people. Yeah, that's because you're supposed to build buildings and stuff like that with logical sense, meaning you can't build something that is wood, supporting concrete and things like that, without having like a proper measurement of things and formulas and things like that. And that's why people go to college. So no, there are things that you're supposed to do by logical. Like, for example, when you go shopping, you are supposed to try to be logical. But I would like to know who the hell is logical when they go shopping. It is a very few people that actually applies logic when it comes to shopping. Oh hell, shopping is very emotional. In fact, some people consider it even therapeutic to do the shopping, because it's like you are married to a brand. And then, logically, that doesn't make sense. You are married to colors, which logically doesn't make sense. You are married to preferences, which is kind of like, that one does a little bit make a little bit of sense. But at the same time, then you're kind of rationalizing your choices that are emotional. And that's why you are probably in a loop of financial problems. Because financial decisions are supposed to be made by numbers. That's why they are called finances. Otherwise, it will be called, I don't know, emotional thing, whatever. So no, finances are numbers, so you're supposed to be kind of logical about it. You're not supposed to go, yeah, oh my God, it's on sale, so I'm going to buy everything. Oh, hell no, Okay, if you're Venezuelan, that's probably your norm, but, Japanese people are very, very logical when it comes to these kind of things, you know. They do things that will fit in an apartment, meaning that they consider the design. Um, they consider, you know, the prices, they consider a lot of things like the environment and a lot of things. So, oh hell, Japanese are kind of like the whole new level of shopping logical thing. And by the way, that's why their shopping things, uh, like if you go to this, you can see also in Disney World. Okay, so there is a Tokyo Disneyland, and there is a, you know, one in Orlando, and there is one in Europe, and there is one in China or Hong Kong, I can't remember. And there is, you know, there are several one, right? So guess which one is the one that produces the most money out of all of them? Yes, the one that it is from Japan. Even though in Japan, they don't have a shopping habits like they do in Latin America. Or hell, if you open something like Disney in Latin America, I can assure you that that thing will run out of the merchandise in 48 hours, because we Latin people, we are so freaking emotional when we're buying, that if we can buy 10, we'll probably buy 20, you know. So just, you know, so letting you know. Japanese, they will be like, maybe one, and I'm going to think about where I'm going to put it, and then once I decided where I'm going to put it, I'm going to buy it and stuff like that. So even though they have that kind of pattern for shopping, their Disney makes more money than all the others. And that this is part of the reason that I'm telling you, is because they are proud of their national, you know, their national money, their national identity, their national things. So even though Disney is not from Japan, they kind of feel that that Disney belongs to them because it is in Japan. I don't know how to explain in a way that you might be able to relate to this, because if you live in the United States, you already have Disney and is from there. But you can say something like how you turn something that is from a foreign country, and then all of a sudden you turn in your own. And once you have adapted to that particular thing, it becomes part of you. And if it becomes part of you, it doesn't matter where the hell it originated. The point is that if you feel proud of that, oh hell, that energy is going to go up and up and up, and it is going to be very, very hard to destroy. However, like I said, if, you know, because of politics or because of whatever, that energy just breaks, then you can tear down the whole society, the whole economy, and then that will affect the individual level like crazy. Because if you can't connect to the place that you're in, you can't connect to Earth, basically. And if you can't connect to the Earth and to the moment that you're living in, you will try to leave. And if you're trying to leave, you are going to be in two places at once, because your body will be in a place, but you're trying to leave by your head and whatever. And this will create a dissociation, and this will create anxiety and a lot of things. And that will only create an even bigger problem with money, because money, it's a part of you. Now you don't know if you want to you know, receive money in your currency, then you're mistrusting currencies, you're mistrusting people, you're mistrusting the government, you're mistrusting everything. And if you keep mistrusting everything, you are even going to even destroy the trust that you have for other people also, because you're going to blame them. You're going to blame everybody but the situation, and it's going to go to hell. And the reason for this, like I said, is because we as humans, we are the ones that give value to things. Now, there are a couple of things that you should know about gold and silver. Okay, there are two things that are at play here. The physical gold that you can have in your hand, the one that you have in your hand when you buy it or whatever. And then there is another one that is in the mind that hasn't come up yet, but you know is there. So for example, let's say that, you're in my country, and then, you're working on a mine, and then you know that in the mine are, I don't know, 10 kilos of that, gold. But, 10 kilos of gold, you require, one day to take out 1 kilo. So let's say that in 10 days you will have 10. But right now you need to pay something. So then you go to the supermarket or something and say, hey, I have 10 kilos of gold in my mine. I will take, I will give you 1 kilo tomorrow, but, give me the things today. So you sign papers. And then, it's kind of like a guarantee thing. But that gold is not actually in your hands, it's in paper. So those papers are estimates. However, those papers are worth the same as the physical thing. So if you have two things, one that is not here yet and one that is here already, and they are both the same price, then you can manipulate the price. Do you know what I mean? Because if you say that you have more, you can lie. You can lie. You can tell the person from the supermarket, hey, give me 100 kilos because my mine has 100 kilos of gold. The person from the supermarket doesn't know if what you're saying is truth or not, and they will take your word for it because you are signing a paper. So the value of that gold is going to be 100 kilos, even though that you don't have 100 kilos, you only have 10. So that discrepancy thing is going to alter the prices. So when that happens, a lot of people that have investments in these metal things, they go crazy, and they go like, oh no, this thing can go down because of this, and this thing can go up because of this. So we are going to, we're going to sell more papers, we're going to reduce the papers. So they trade them papers. They don't trade the actual silver, and they don't trade the actual gold. They just trade paper. And if they are trading papers, that value of the gold that you are having right now is actually a lie. So if you're thinking that your investment, that you're investing in metals because, they are high, they are low, whatever, yeah, that price that you're paying, that price that you're paying is just manipulated, because there is no way to know how much of the market value is real because it is physical thing, and how much the market is fake because of the papers. And to figure out if the actual papers are worth something, then you have politics in there, because you will have a lot of politicians that actually bought these papers and whatever, and they're going to lie about it because they can't have hyperinflation in the price of the metals. See? Because right now, let's say, like I said, you only have 10 kilos of gold, but you said you had 100. If you say you had 100, then the price is getting lower. And whoever holds the real thing is having a hell of a deal, because they know that they have 10, but they're having the price of 100, which means that they are paying nothing. You know what I mean? Because they are paying 1 out of 100. Or actually 1 out of 10, because 10 against 100, that means 1 out of 10. So that means that they're paying 1 out of 10, which is a lie. And by the way, all these people that are investing in papers, they're losing their money. If they're losing their money, and now nobody will trust papers, and nobody will trust the currencies that hold these papers, because these metal things are being sold in currencies, then that currency is also going to experience hyperinflation or a hell of a lot of problems. Because you can't be, it's like, yeah, I have $100 savings, so I'm going to invest in papers that have to do with gold so that I can be safe. Yeah, that paper is worth nothing, because like I said, if the company lied, or they don't get the contract anymore, or the machinery didn't work, or whatever, which by the way will happen, then what the hell? You're not getting that gold. If you're not getting that gold, you only have its papers, and a lawsuit, and time that you're going to waste, and a hell of a lot of energy that you're going to waste. because and that is going to increase the value of gold, but it's going to decrease the value of your currency. Because if a lot of people invested in this thing and that thing is in that particular currency and that currency went to hell, like is zero right now, because it basically just evaporated, yeah, that's like, oh my god, what the hell. So that's why you really need to be careful. And it also plays out when you're buying things that have to do with cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, because if you're buying things that are dependent upon internet, and then all of a sudden there is a collapse and there is no more internet and you can't access that, like I said, you will have a problem. So even if you have $100 million in that thing, you won't be able to access them because they are on the internet. They are not in your pocket. They are not in your hand. And if you don't have internet because there is no power, because there is no, the internet cables broke or whatever, like me, I just had 6 days without internet. And sometimes, like I said, we had a national power outage that lasted nearly 2 weeks. Like the entire country was without electricity for almost 2 weeks. My city was without electricity for 4.5 days. And then, we got a little bit of electricity, and then, bit by bit, we were having electricity, but some places didn't get the electricity back at all from that day. And that happened over a year ago. So, can you imagine if something like that were to happen? How the hell are you going to prove that you have that money? Do you have a bank that you can go to and, sue the hell out of them? Because they are a physical entity that you can go to and, say, I'm going to take my lawyer and you're going to have to give me my money. Hell, when we had the problem with the cash situation, there were a lot of people that wanted their money back and they couldn't get it. You just can't get it because they have no cash. So the physical money is also, an item that you need to consider, because those bills are not produced by thin air. Those bills are legitimate and they have to be to the process and they have a serial so that nobody can counterfeit them and stuff like that. So they have limited production. And if you don't have electricity and things like that to make them, then that bill is going to go up, the price per se. And people are going to start selling cash, which will create hyperinflation. Because if you can't make bills, then whatever bills you have is all you're going to get. If the bills, go to hell, then you're not going to get any kind of bills anymore. You go to the bank and they will tell you, hey, we ran out of the cash. And then you're kind of like, so what now? And the banks will say, hey, you need to buy the cash, or you need to leave, or you need to figure out what you're going to do because we can't help you. And at that particular moment, oh hell, you will have hyperinflation because of that. Because the bills per se have a cost. And, the process per se of making bills is like very, complicated so that nobody will counterfeit it. So it needs to be done in certain places. For example, my country doesn't make bills. We can't make them. We have to import them. Meaning we have to actually buy them in the price of US dollars or euros or whatever. We don't make them here. If you don't make the bills that make your own money, then you are going to be in trouble. Because you're going to have to pay for the bills. So every time that you need to replace a bill, you will have to pay for it. Even if the bill is worth less than whatever you're paying. So let's say that you're paying $3 for a bill that is worth 50 cents, like my case. Because right now we have a bill that actually is worth 50 cents. And all the other bills are worth, let's see, I think 1/10 out of a cent or something like that. So See what I mean? And then you look at the value of the bill per se, and it is that. So you pay it. It's like you going into a car agency, and the car is worth, I don't know, let's say $10,000, and yet in the car agency they said, yeah, you know what? You need to pay $85,000 to get this car. And then you're like, yeah, so you pay the $85,000 for the car, and then once you take the car out of the agency, it's worth $10,000. And then you're kind of like, what the hell? I just lost $75,000. Yeah, kind of like that, but try to imagine that in the amount of bills and the amount of money that you lose when you're not producing your own freaking money. Because you can't, to make the money per se, you need certain papers that are not, common paper. You need chemicals. You need printers that are special. And like I said, cereal and stuff, and it's a process. You need a lot of people that will do this. Okay? You need checks. You need you need the banks. You need the transportation. You need all of this. So each bill that you have in your hand is actually about, the cost per se of that thing, no matter the number that it has, is probably around $2. Even the ones that are $1. So let's say that it is 2. I don't know how much it is, but I'm guessing that it's about $2 because of the amount of, things that you're supposed to go through with this thing. So I'm guessing in my head the mental numbers, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's about $1 or something. But the point is that you're losing money. You're losing money when you're printing money that is worth less than whatever the hell you're selling the money for. And the reason for that is kind of obvious. You need to make this security thing and all of that, and then you can't make it everything, and then all of that. So people don't consider all of the details that go behind stuff for them to work. And if you don't consider all of the things that you need to work, the most important factor is always going to be people. You need people to make things that are made by people to work. I mean, can you imagine if the world was run by animals? I'm guessing that everything will be free. Because, they will be like, yeah, I'm taking everything from Mother Nature, and that's it, What the hell? I'm not involving anything else. Maybe I will involve other animals, but, that's it. But we humans, oh hell no, we have like a lot of structures that we create. We create a lot of energies that are entirely different. That includes money, national identity, borders, security things, passports, identity. Oh my God, it's insane. And since they are all created by humans, they have to be obedient to the laws of humans, which is why they should be logical. Should. But they are not. Because, again, have you ever met a human being that is entirely logical? Hell, if you watch the Big Bang theories, even Sheldon, he's very, very logical, but oh my God, when he's emotional, he goes to hell. He can't handle it. Really. So it's kind of like that. And you need emotional intelligence, and that's something that we are not teaching anyone. And you need to know that this thing, money and other things, are part of your national identity and therefore a part of your identity. And if you don't have a good concept of that, you are always going to be a slave of the system. This is why nobody tells you, in the schools that you are supposed to identify yourself to a certain point with your national, things. You need to be proud of where you are. Because if you're not, then you're going to lose part of your root, part of your ancestry, and part of the value of the money that you are holding. Because if you can't connect to that emotionally, then you are going to be slave of that thing called money. Because if you can't connect to it like the way that other people did, like let's say that, when George Washington was alive, he decided to create the bills, and then he said, to everyone that he gave the bills, he says, I am proud of your work. How do you feel? So I am giving you this as a proof that you are worth your work, as a proof that you are doing something good. You are worth, as a human being, you're worth a lot because you're helping, you're communicating, you're doing things, and then you take the money. Now, do you feel that right now when you get your paycheck? Why? Because if you don't feel that this is because you did a good work, if you don't feel that this is enough, if you don't feel that this is whatever, then it means basically that sensation of you being proud of you is not there. And then resentment will grow inside of you, which will make you do stupid things, and then you will be completely enslaved and overrun by the system. And then when the system collapses, even if it collapses a tiny bit, you will feel entirely destroyed, and you will have no idea why. That is because you're not proud of your money, you're not proud of your work, and you're not proud of anything, and then you don't give a shit. I'm sorry. And if you don't give a shit, then the money can go to hell, meaning, nobody will stop the inflation and hyperinflation, and everyone will complain about it, but nobody will do anything about it because nobody can connect to the process. And why is that? Because, like I said, the national thing was destroyed, and you can't connect emotionally. If you connect only logically, then the bound, like the glue that holds things together, is not there. And things will go, instead of going like this, because they have glued together with their emotions, they will go like this. And if they go like this, then you don't care and you just leave or do whatever, and you just roll with it and change to another currency or stuff. And then when you do that, basically you lose the entire country. If a lot of people does it, you lose the entire country, like we are doing right now. And this is like unexpected, and it is because nobody's teaching kids that they are supposed to be proud of the money that they are making. And they're supposed to work for it. So, I don't know. I hope that this was helpful, So thank you for watching.